Hi, everyone. This is Kevin Tharp. I've had most of you in class before, so I'm going to uh, keep those introductions kind of brief. Let's talk about the class itself, things that we're going to do. So, this is for the SEO class, whether you are an on campus student, online, or graduate student, because there are students from all those categories in my SEO classes this semester. The most important thing to realize is that this class starts off really fast. The way that I've designed this class, and really most of my classes, is so that we have the heaviest load is at the beginning of the semester. Um, there are a few peaks and valleys in the first 10 weeks. But then the last 4 weeks, it kind of glides in for a soft landing. And I do that in all my classes because it just seems to work better for me to have my classes with your heavier load when other classes might be lighter. And so this is the same way. Um, there's a couple of things that we're going to be doing here. We are using Stukent. So if you uh, log into the class, you'll see the Stukent link. That's what you need to click to get enrolled in the textbook. It tells you how to do that in here. So I'm not going to go into a lot of information about this. The resources that we use for this class, I use Stukent, as I mentioned, and when you go into Stukent, there's a couple things. At the beginning of the semester, will be focused on the textbook itself. And so let me go back one area here, and you're going to see a couple of different kinds of things related to the readings. So in this one, you see chapter one, an overview of search CYU. That CYU, that's a check your learning or check your understanding. And so that's integrated into all of the chapters that we're doing. So you'll see little slides that come up throughout your reading of the chapters, and you check on those, and it's just a checking of your understanding, and it's built into the chapters itself. At the end of each chapter, there's also a quiz. So when you're going to do the readings, if you click on this chapter one, whichever one has the CYU, that is going to be a link to the chapter itself. So that's the quickest way for you to get into the chapter that you're wanting to do. And it's going to have, all that. This is the CYU over here. It'll show up, and that's really just a chance for you to check your understanding of what's going on within that particular class. So in each chapter, there's going to be the chapter, the CYU, and the quiz. So you'll see that in all. That's going to be consistent week after week. What I do is I drop two of the quizzes. So I know that there's going to be months or chapters. So there's 15 chapters that you're going to be reading throughout the semester. In the beginning of the semester, I double up on some of those. There's a lot of reading and watching videos to do, especially the first month of this class, because before we can focus on the application of what we're doing in SEO, we got a lot of information to read. And I mean a lot of information, because this SEO, when I started teaching it in 2012, was pretty straightforward and reasonably easy to do. It's gotten more and more and more complicated. And with the boom in AI, it's not completely changed, but the way that you practice it completely changes. The underlying ideas of how things work, what you need to do to show up in search. Because ultimately, that is what we are talking about. In search engine optimization, what we're talking about is what are the things that you can do to your content on your site. So we'll be talking about on site, or information that is offsite, such as reviews, local listings in Google Maps and places like that. So offsite stuff you don't have, you've got influence on, but you don't have control of it. On-site is the stuff you have control of. It is the content, the metadata, the alt tags on your images, all those things, and we'll be digging into all of those. But before you can start applying this stuff, you got to understand kind of the history. Where did it come from? Why is it the way that it is? How has it changed? How is it changing? And it's changing. It'll be changed by the end of the semester. So we don't spend a lot of time on tactics, um, but we do some. So you will the second half of the semester. So the first 7 weeks of the semester, it's going to be covering all this background knowledge that you're going to need to know. And so then when we get to, and I haven't got it all fleshed out here, I've got it close, but new textbook, new resources, I'm still having to clean this all up. But somewhere around week 7, we'll switch and we will start doing, and it's not even in there yet, so I'll get to that later. We start doing simulations, and that's part of the stew kit. So right now you can't see the simulations, but if you've had my ICT analytics course, DMT 311, it's similar to the simulation that you did in DMT 311, but instead of focusing on analytics, it's focusing on SEO. So you'll go through a scenario where you have goals that you need to achieve to try and do things. So that is not open yet. That'll open up in week 6, I believe. And so if you're familiar with most of my classes, what I do is I set this up so that you can work ahead but not get behind. In this class, we don't have graded discussions like we do in others, so there won't be any of the responding to peers videos. That's the other thing to know about this class is completely asynchronous, completely online. The best way to get in touch with me is through Teams, but if you've ever had me in class before, you already know that, and that's no different. So we'll be going through and doing a lot of reading. There's a lot of materials, videos, gathering of documents, all kinds of stuff that I've created that goes in support of the textbook and those StuKent resources. So I pull from both worlds, and like I said, there's a lot to do, especially at the beginning. So get dug into this as soon as possible. So, for instance, in week 2, looking at the systems approach to understanding search and search engines and search engine and results places, that's a significant set of learning resources. So, in that particular week, I have only got you reading one chapter. I'm gonna My goal is to try and have by about week 3 or week 4 everything in place and correct for the entire semester so that that will allow you to work ahead. But again, I've got it set up so you don't get behind. So that's all I've got to say. I think I'm starting to repeat myself. So I'm going to stop this from now. Welcome to SEO. Um, One of the things that we will be touching on throughout the semester is what's happening with AI. So this is brand new and it's changing all the time. It is becoming as much a part of SEO as any of the other stuff that you're going to learn about, but we don't really know how it's going to affect it as we're going forward. So that's the nature of any of this forward-facing digital marketing stuff. It's going to be changing constantly, and this is going to be the same way. So welcome you all to class. A lot of familiar names and faces in here, and I look forward to spending the semester with you. We will talk to you later. Bye-bye.